Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another day. Happy Monday. It's another live brought to you by Small Business Runway. I'm so honored and happy to be here with you guys. And I must apologize for the 5-minute delay. But I know and understand that our guest is waiting for us. And so we will dive straight into it. Of course, Instagram needs to let a couple of people know so that they can join in the conversation. So if you are here, let me know where you're joining from. Let me know, if this is your first time joining. And if it is the first time, don't let it be the last time. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Malevo. Hi, everybody that's joining. Whoa. Hey, guys. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. If this is your first time joining, welcome to the Small Business Runway page. I'd like to just formally greet everybody and welcome you into our tribe, into our space. We are a tribe of entrepreneurs. We are a tribe of business builders. And so we aim to teach and make sure that we pass on the information around our experience, around our journeys, and everything small businesses. Hey guys, thank you for joining. Okay, so your girl is a little bit late, but rather late than never. And like I said, our esteemed guest for today is ready to join us on the live. I have seen him join us already. And so I will not waste any more time. For those of you guys that don't know who I am, my name is Dina Madonsela. I am a business builder, a business coach. I speak, I teach, and I train small businesses with practical tips and tools on how to grow their businesses. I'm so happy and honored that you actually were able to join us today. If this is your first time joining us, let us know where you are joining from. Let us properly greet you. And also, if you are here, there's a small little arrow button at the bottom of your screen. Do me a favor and share it to as many of your friends as possible. Friends of yours that are interested in business, in growth, in building, in entrepreneurship. Anybody that you think can benefit from this conversation. I am super excited today. I get to be joined by the food guy, Sthembiso Ndashe, also known as Lord Ndashe. He is also known as okay, so it's Lord Ndashe, it's Abuti Ndashe, it's I love fatherhood. So really my guest today is a guy that's been around in the entrepreneurship space, in the business building space, and really just, defining what it is to be an entrepreneur in South Africa. So it is my true honor and privilege to be able to have a conversation with him today. I'm going to go ahead and add him to the conversation. Okay. There we go. So guys, while he is coming on, let me just tell you a little bit about Ndashe. So Ndashe is a marketing graduate from Durban University of Technology. He's the founder of Singelosi Trading. His dream is really to build a food empire. We'll find out more about that. He calls himself the food guy. He's a blogger, he's an influencer, and also he's a concept generator. Welcome to the Small Business Runway Live, Ndashe.
Hey, Tuna, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain. I'm really good.
Yeah.
Energies. I'm really good.
Amazing. So I'm super excited that you've, actually agreed to the invitation. I really just, I do a lot of like DMing. So for people who don't know, the trick is to DM. But I really just, do a lot of inviting. I invite different people from different industries, from different walks of life to actually just share on our journey. What we try to do as Small Business Runway is share, just practical tips and tools, like on a really practical level with different entrepreneurs, business builders, business owners and the likes. And so when you agreed, I was very, very happy because I've actually been following your journey for a while. You might or might not know about me, But of course, today is obviously to get to know a little bit more about you, the food guy, the guy that has built Dash Food Concepts, that has built, this whole, this industry, this business around food. So welcome to our platform once again.
Thank you for having me. And look,
Yeah.
you reached out, I think on my part is I'm also always honored and willing to share whatever inside information that I have that could actually help others, because I think in the different avenues of spaces, one advice from me or from any other person can help another person actually try and build something and achieve something. So it's always great to share insights. And when, like I said, you called out, I looked forward to it.
Yeah, that's great. So now, Dash, like, give us your background. You're a guy from like Nas, Gamaqhekeza, Nkomazi, for people that don't know, Mpumalanga, for people that don't even know that part. Like, where do you come from? What is your background really?
Look, it's very simple. I'm a proudly born and bred kid from Mpumalanga. And most of the time when you try to tell people, go say, oh, Puma Enasi, and you go like, I'm from Komati Port, and people normally
Yeah.
where's that? That's basically about 100 kilometers from Nelspruit. Closer between I'm between two borders of the Swaziland border gate and the Mozambique border gate. Like I said, born and bred, completed my matric in Nelspruit, did my varsity life in Durban. I studied marketing as you've introduced. I lived in Johannesburg since 2007. Um,
Okay.
when I got to Johannesburg, I went into the media space. So I did a lot of advertising for about 7.5 years. And
Hmm.
eventually, I decided to follow my passion, which was food. And I've been doing my food journey since 2013, October.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So it's always so, humbling, man. I think from me, because what I try to do with all of my guests is always try and get a sense of like the background, try to get a sense of like the upbringing, because the truth is, us as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, even with yourself, right? Today we see, or I see rather, this guy was Sthembiso Ndashe. I see this Dash Food Concepts. I see this guy that is doing pop-ups in Midrand, that is doing all these things, that has even these endorsements and brand deals with big companies. But it's always interesting for me to see how, firstly, humble people that I think, in my opinion, are established are. So you're very, very humble, and also just like the background, there's always a story to tell. What are some of those like stories in your background or in your like upbringing that you can be like, I know I've always been this guy because of this?
Um, Firstly, you know what? It's not as easy as it looks. Uh,
Yeah.
I I have a lot of people that I look up to in my life, and one of them would be my late father. My late father was a guy who was firstly interested in education.
Yeah.
But for me, I think what caught my attention about my dad was his background and what he was able to achieve. Not politically, not whatever, but through resilience and basically wanting to better his life. And my journey has not been an easy one. One moment you literally are in a corporate job and you're in management, and you find yourself in a place where you're no longer happy. And you ask yourself, where to, what's next? And I remember when I quit work, I had that little bit of pension money, which only managed to last for like less than 6 months. And when I left, my plan was not really food at that time, but it was literally to pursue what I was doing in corporate, thinking I was smart, that I was going to do the same job, but my target was going to be government because, I'm a black child. And
Okay, yeah.
that backfired to the most because it was always, we like what you're doing. We're waiting for budgets, but you must understand it's month in, month out, money going in out of your pocket, and you literally have nothing. And my other background part time has always been, so from being a young kid, from high school to varsity, I was big at hosting people, hosting parties. I had a portfolio in varsity where I was in charge of the student accommodation and the events. And when I first started, I worked for Coca-Cola, and I created a position outside my normal position where I hosted parties. So when it came to, I'm sorry for the term, but this is me, when shit hit the fan, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I had to come up with a plan. And the plan was, so I'm a marketing graduate. I am good at hosting people. I'm good at having an event. And I'm also great at cooking. So it was a matter of, I held my first pop up because one of the opportunities within Midrand was, so living in the north. I remember that I really had to go to Tembisa with most of my friends whenever I wanted traditional food. And being a Model C kind of like vibey kid, I was scared of Alex for whatever Stoop 16. But for me, where I was, whenever I needed food, I had to go
Yeah.
out. So I thought, look, let's take a chance. And the chance was, I hosted my first pop up, which, to tell you the truth, it blew my expectations within the first day. And that was because I did an extensive marketing. It was, my first target of it was my friends, and my friends calling their friends on the first initial thing. And basically from there, the rest is history. And we'll get into it on how we moved from a pop up idea to where we are today. So literally, I think fast forwarding, that's how Dash Food was actually born.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's always also interesting. There's a lot of interesting moments because remember, I mean, for me, I pride myself with the fact that I don't know much, and so when I bring on people here, it's to know more, you know. So I'm gonna say this a lot because it is interesting for me, and hopefully for all of my audience as well. The fact that you're saying you actually left your corporate job, you had a plan, but it was not the plan that you are, you know, eventually living out now, right?
Yeah.
So just talk to us about like that realization, like that coming to that point where you're like, okay, you know what? Like this is not gonna work, you know. I need to, you know what I mean? Like that point where you're like, oh my God, now you've left your job, so you've left a steady income, what you're trying to do does not work. Now you have to sort of pivot and, or, you know, rather maybe just change your whole business idea. Talk to me about that transition from like, you know, realizing and then having to act differently. Because a lot of us, I think we try to hold on to that idea, like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. But like at the end of the day, we realize it's actually not going to happen. So how was that transition for you? Like that realization, you know, that this is not working.
Look, you always know. It's just that a lot of people are in denial. You know, you are there. Business equals money. Business equals success. So if your account is on 0 0 and bills are coming, you know that it's not working. I've often said to even friends and people that I meet is that if it doesn't work, use your backup, which is your degree, and go back to corporate, you know? So fortunately for me, what I did was I interacted with a lot of people. I'm one person that even still today, I'm not afraid of asking for help, you know, and I'm not afraid of learning, you know. It's as easy as I always tell people, if you see someone that you look up to and you have that opportunity, it's like, man, what are you doing? How are you doing it? How can I do it too? And 90% people are going to tell you something that you don't want to hear, or they'll tell you something that you do want to hear. But most of the time, if you listen carefully, you will take something there that you can go and work with. In my fortunate space was, so when I quit, I was fortunate to meet a lot of people that were actually doing tenders, because I didn't even know anything about tenders. So it was a matter of, you know, go and register your company. From registering your company, go to this department, put everything that you need, and provide services. So remember, background is marketing, background is sales. Now, when I say tenders, I'm talking about what they called RFQs. You know, and RFQ is they want cups. I'll go and buy cups and I'll make 2 rand. But basically, business, whether you like it or you don't, is a hustle. You just have ways, because at the end of the day, it's not just a hustle, but business is finding ways on how to make money. So the problem that we also have as people is, in a sense, is that we look at the degree and the qualification that we have and we say to ourselves, I can't do this job. But the richest people, if you go and you find out their stories, you'll be amazed of where they started. People assume that making money is overnight. But to cut the long story short, I didn't last in tenders because it's not my business. You know, it's, for me, that is something that helps you, but it's not a business that you should base your life on. It works for other people, but it's not something that worked for me, because where we can basically take Ndash Food, it started off as a pop-up, which was in Midrand. And for me, it was just one day in a week. But I then had to start looking for more days. I then had to think of more places that I could go to. So typically, by doing all of those things, what started as a pop-up restaurant became something that became a catering business. You understand? So instead of doing a pop-up only on Mondays and Thursdays, people started saying there's this guy that is cooking food. And then from cooking all of the food that I was doing, then there were people that said, you know what, we've got a catering gig for Heritage Day. Can you come cater? I'm like, whoa, you know, catering. And I started catering for, I'm talking about corporates. I'm one of the first people that can tell you with pride that I started serving food in Sandton in corporate gigs. You know what I'm saying? And through the consistency, and when we speak of consistency, is that it doesn't mean that 2 years, 5 years, 3 years, you are successful. Everything has to go with, sometimes it's hard work, sometimes it's luck, but all of it, basically you being consistent. And we speak of 2013, when I started, which was towards end of the year. We fast forward to 2016. I found my biggest gig, which was from Unilever, you know, with Knorr. And I'm talking about a gig that was able to pay me more than what I used to earn in a year. Do you understand? Now, all of these things were not things that I went and it's basically when you go into the business and you build a brand and you are consistent and you are visible, people will talk about who you are, what you are. Opportunities will present themselves without you looking for them. So when I started seeing how corporate was working now, I went back and I regrouped and I started looking at my business. What is my business? I'm a marketing graduate. So I started now, instead of waiting for corporate, I started going out to selling my business to corporates. So I started sort of like a small media division within Dash Food where I create content for brands. So I'm one of the first people that basically became the food influencers in this industry. After that, I focused on catering. So we pushed catering. Still then, the same method that we have done, I've been doing my pop-up restaurant from 2013, still today. And to the point that in 2020, the plan, like right now, we are busy working on a small cafe because now we feel, because of the demand, that people is like, dude, we can no longer wait from you to come back on Thursday. So we've decided to open up a cafe. From opening up this cafe, it will be opening 7 days a week. And one of the plans within this business that we are trying to do is literally to get people who are looking for experiences. So I want to take my experiences and I want to work with young chefs that do not have platforms, but young chefs that have ideas so that we can all create something. And from creating it, God willingly, that it becomes great, then let's replicate the same concept. We are now in a position where we finally built our own app, a delivery app. We are not using Uber Eats. We are not using Mr. Delivery. We are not. We own our own app. Within the same, one of the things that we're also doing is it's also trying to create opportunities for other chefs that if people are looking for services, so Dash Food is known, but now Utrina as a chef is not known. We want to use our platform to create a profile within the Dash Food app for people whenever they go in there and they're saying they're looking for a private chef that can do everything. And there is Utrina. When Utrina goes in there, what we would have done, we would have given you a platform. So if let's say there's a service, is that we would rather at least take 20%, you take 80%, because everything that we have, it also costs money to build. But there's a whole lot of things in terms of from how 7 years ago Dash Food was to how 2020 Dash Food is. So yeah, sorry, I'm hijacking you, but you can proceed.
No, 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 no. No, you can go right ahead. Feel free, man. This is your platform too. But I mean, it's always so like, okay. So, I mean, I want to be real here for 1 second, right? Because it almost sounds like your journey, you started this whole thing and you did what you were doing, through consistency, you got corporate and other brands to notice you, right? But let's be real. When I, as Utina, am an unknown person or I'm a small business owner and I try to knock on these people's doors, I try to, I think I have my ducks in a row. I send proposals. I pitch. I connect or contact the people that I need to contact. But it's not easy getting through the corporate doors and Dash. Like, and you've got that corporate experience. So you've been in corporate and then you've been a supplier or you've done a service to corporate.
Right.
Like, what's the best way for us to like just break those doors to get into corporate? Like, how do we actually make sure that we do business with big business?
So let me ask you a question. How many people do you know that are successful that says to you that it just came and was like, hey, what's up? It's a done deal. No one will ever tell you that, because nothing in any business, whether it be food, whether it be music, whether it be fashion, is easy. And that is the challenge. Before we started this, you brought up an important point about how you just DM people. That is something in my market, we call it cold calling. You basically cast the net and whoever catches it, catches it. Number two is that the problem that you have with a lot of people when they go to corporate, remember that corporate has 1 million proposals and ideas and things that they get in a day. What makes you stand out? Because most people, when they mess it up, they come knock, and the door is open. What's up? Where they give you the ear. It's like, no, we want to do something. We're going to have DJ and what, and then they close it. Firstly, it is up to you to study the companies and the brands. Secondly, it is up to you to think differently in ways that they are not looking at, in ways that you feel you can add value to them. For me, what started adding value was literally, I was the only influencer back then that specialized in African cuisine. So for me, it was easy to go to a brand and say, no, I want to use your products. I want to use your brand to create umkhodu, amanqina,
Yeah.
which is something that you as a company are not doing. But guess what? I'm able to reach a certain demographic of people that they eat umkhodi. But from eating umkhodi is that things are evolving, things are changing. We want to be that change with your brand. They bought into it. We started working with a lot of brands like Nola. We've worked with Testic, as I'm currently working right now with Testic. And my partnership with Testic has been going on for the past 3 years. And one of the reasons why we keep on going it is that for me, Testic is a heritage brand. I'm a proudly South African food brand. I cannot sell you Testic in any other way besides is that it's a 7-color dish. But now, as a South African food brand, I've evolved. So I want to show you how you can cook Testic. So it is about giving solutions to brands that make sense. Secondly, remember is that we have now, as Ndash Food, have a platform. Our platform is our social media page. So remember, that is my TV channel. That is my magazine, my radio. We are currently sitting at 80,000 plus people that listen to what we have to say. So if I go to a brand, I say to them, I have 80,000 people. I want to work with you. We find the solutions. So I repeat again, and I say to you is that there are some relationships that have come, that have gone. There are some people that from energies, they'll be aligned, from vibes, from ideas. And there are some that will come and then they will leave, and then there'll be new managers and they say, look, no more work for you. It is business. But at the end of the day, I believe that the other mistake that we make as people of entrepreneurs is that we are quick to wait for corporates to give us a boost. We do not take what we have and create our own economies. So the first pop-up of Ndash Food, let me tell you a story, was through pots, a gas stove that were lying in my friend's garage. They were not being utilized, but I needed stoves and I needed pots. And she said, you could use that. My first pop-up, I did not even have money, but I had to go and loan around 2,000 Rand to go and buy because I was just taking a chance. And when I took the chance with that 2,000 Rand, within the first day, I made 7,000 Rand. From making 7,000 Rand, guess what I did? I went again. I paid the 2,000 Rand loan. I had 5,000 Rand. I went and I did for 4 weeks. Within that 4 weeks, I kept on buying myself pots. I kept on buying myself a gas stove, which is a 3-plate. I bought things to make me more money. You understand? Within the second month, my friend all of a sudden saw how my business was doing, needed their pots that were sitting in the garage. I said, it's cool. You can have back. And rightfully so, it is their stuff, not mine. But because I bought my own things, when they took, I continued. So the other thing that we also need to start understanding when we get into a business and into a space, don't do things because you are seeing other people's doing it. Do things because of your capabilities, because of your strength. I did not start a kitchen because I cook my own food. Now I have a team that I taught to cook the same food when I'm not around. That is number one. We have the mistake that we make is that we want to be bosses rather than workers of our businesses. I'm not a boss. Mina, in my business, there is nothing that you can do that I cannot. And worse, thing in my kitchen, I will do it 20 times better than you. That's why every person that works for me, I always tell them, you are not doing me a favor. We are working together. These are the kind of things that people need to understand. But people are so quick. So for about 4 years, every single day I was in the kitchen with my team before I became comfortable to saying, guys, you can run now. Do you understand? For 4 years, I cooked. I remember how I sometimes had to borrow people's bakkies in order to load the things into the car. But everything that I did, I believe is that success comes with passion. You must love what you do. Something must drive you. And that's how Dash Food for me was born. If you were to sit down with me and hear my dreams about Dash Food going forward, you'd be so shocked of how it just started off with just a Monday and people. You understand? And I sit right now proudly today and I say to you is that one of my biggest dreams is to basically create a cafe that the big brands will notice and come to me and saying, we want to buy 50% of your business. That is the dream. And also the story basically comes from, for me, the opportunity was I've used traveling to learn cultures, to learn how other people think. So one of the things that is moving and how I literally actually quit my job is I was fortunate to go to China because I wanted to see what the Great Wall of China was. And China, went to Beijing, I was moved at the culture of the Chinese community. So Chinese people, bakhuluma lwimi lakubo, they speak their language firstly before they speak English. Chinese people, if you go there, you will see more Chinese restaurant, fast food, traditionals, takeaways, and what than you would see of all of these Western brands. What that sparked into my head was, in a sense, is that tell me of how many South African food brands do you know that we celebrate, that we are proud of within our own country? And I will assure you, we do not have many that have been commercialized. We are quick. So if you go to China and you are a visitor as a guest, Chinese people will not take you to an American restaurant. They will take you to a Chinese cultural restaurant. That speaks volume. We are not proud of our own food because, whoa, angidli mina mathumbu. If you take the local and non-black people, that's another factor. You take them to China, to Egypt, to wherever in the world, they will go and try food from outside. But if you feed them locally and you're saying, guys, let's go eat tribe, they go, no, we don't eat that. Why is that?
Why, Dash? Why?
Are you aware that?
Why is that?
But it is because we are not proud of our food. It is because right now, for starters, is that we are also having a conversation in English. It is because right now, most of the things that we do is not about us. For me, was something that I became passionate about. That's why I say I do South African food with a twist. Why do I include the twist? Is in a sense is that tsala. Bothatha matfumbu ufake sawoti wabilise. They had the smell. As time progressed, you learned that there is spices. You learn to understand that there is stock. You learn to understand that there is soup. You can put veggies into it. And you can do it whichever way that you want because everything is evolving. Do you understand? So all of these things that is the field that I'm in. I am taking time to be interested in it, to learn different things. I'm not just sitting and looking what everyone else is doing. I'm not in the business of copying what people are doing. I'm in the business of how do I better me. One of the coolest things that I can tell you proudly today is that our menu from 2013 to 2020 is still the same. Changed. There's a reason why we've done that. Yet our numbers are growing. I can tell you that there are people that we started with in 2013, in 2020, they are still with us. Those people have become our family. Those people have become more than just clients because of the relationship that we have put in.
Yeah.
So if you go again, I can tell you now, if you go back to the beginning of COVID, you had a lot of people that came into, all of a sudden, they are cookers. Come after COVID, go find out where they are. They've disappeared because people do not do things from here. They do things, everyone else doing it.
Someone else. Yeah.
I love food. It's 2020. Everyone has a book. I don't have a book because in my mind, I'm still designing a concept of my food book. It will be different. So what I'm trying to say to you is that everything that is my business, I live it. Everything that I'm able to achieve, it's because I'm experienced in it. I repeat, I'm passionate about food. I'm great with people. I'm a marketing graduate. I've got corporate experience. If you take all of these things, I will always find an opportunity, even in a hole that is locked with whatever. I will break it down and someone will listen to it. So that's I live as the business that I'm in. Floor is yours.
Woo! Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Yo, you're giving me so much energy right now. You don't even know. Dash, you've spoken about just, knocking on the corporate doors, understanding your purpose, living from your passion, and doing your own thing, right? Is it important? Because this idea for me, I just actually came into realization the past 2 months, né? That you can have people around you. So you can be surrounded by friends, family, people, blah, 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 right? But it's when you try to do a business, when you all of a sudden tell people, guys, I've got a business, you need to buy from me, all of a sudden, all those people that you thought, this is a given, they will support me. All of a sudden those people fall away, or they've got excuses, or it becomes a weird space now, because it's like, how? But I mean, you've always been liking my stuff, you've always been sending me fire emojis, you've always been, encouraging me like, yes, girl. And then all of a sudden, I don't feel your support, like money-wise, or you're not supporting my business by sharing, or whatever not. What has your experience been with like people and friends and just people supporting your business, your vision, and just also, because I understand that when you get into a space, whether you are new or not, but when you get into a space, right, there are people that are already there, or if not exactly doing what you are doing, they're in a similar industry, right? People can either embrace you. What has been your experience? Have people in the food industry embraced you as this guy that's coming up with this fresh African cuisine? Or have you found like a pushback? People don't understand you, people are afraid of you, or whatever not. What has been your experience with people in general?
So let's go back to family, let's go back to friends. The first mistake that is imagine if my friends were to eat Ndash food every single day. Wouldn't that be a bit unfair?
Yeah.
So let's
make sense.
The problem that we have, so I always have this saying, is that people are not disappointed. People are disappointed by the expectations that they make of people. That's number one. Number two, we all in fact, in reality, we as Black people are filled with hatred, with jealousy. Hence, that society of Black people, everyone is pulling from different angles. That's why we as Black people have not been able to achieve anything with the power that we have. So those are the same thing, is that why do you think that in the townships, the spaza shops are gone? Why do you think that in the townships, the supermarkets are owned by white peoples in the malls? I will tell you why that is. So first and foremost, as Black people, there's a concept that I use of the car wash in the township. You as Gina go and open up your car wash. You set it up and you wash car in this busy street. You have 100 cars that come to wash cars from you. Utemba, hey, lo muntu lona wenza imali. Temba goes across the street, opens a car wash. What has Temba done? Temba has not built a business. Temba has not done anything differently. What Temba does is it takes away 50% of your market, it goes to him. Because you as Gcina are lacking to service all of these people. So Utemba opens across the road, has this 50, you have lost a market share of 50%. He believes that he has gained the 50% market share when he actually hasn't. You have, because your money starts dropping. And then Uvusi opens on the other side, 500 meters, a car wash. Now you have 33%, Vusi 33%, 33%. Why? Because none of you thought of the opportunity that existed. Now let me tell you what could have happened. Gcina has a car wash. Uvusi could have easily come to Gcina's business and said, look, I see you doing this car wash and it's amazing. But there's something that you do not have. So why not I step in on my own premises next to yours, but I start serving food to all of your clients. So what you guys have done is, in a sense now, is that you're not competing against each other. You are working with the other person that comes in there basically says to you, you know what? This is a great spot. We're going to have a mobile pop-up, what do you call, bar. We will be servicing this drinks. And guess what? We will follow the protocol. We will go and get like an events thingy or a liquor license just to do this thing every single day. So all of us are safe. Now, what is it that we are start doing is that you have 100 people. I'm feeding 100 people. He's drinking 100 people. No one is losing because all of us are together. So if we shift back and then you ask me, is that I could tell you one of the greatest things is that when I started, my friends, that's what I said, supported me. But one of the interesting things is that the moment I remember I bought a new car, a lot of people changed because in their head, they thought that I was getting wealthier. That is the other problem where we speak about jealousy. The other that my friends stayed, those were my friends still today, they support me. Other people who fell in basically supported the vision, supported the business, and they liked us because we cannot put everyone under the same umbrella. There are people that are jealous. There are people that banemona. There are people that there are people that are always competing. There's a lot of people that I know that used to be my customers who went and started the same thing as me because they thought, if Ndashe can do it, we will also do it. So the truth is this, is that that's how business is. Besides me, after that, a lot of places opened. From opening, there were chances. From opening, there were great brands. From opening, so you do not own people. People will stay with you because service, great food, and everything. People would leave, rightfully so. If they feel they'll find something better elsewhere, they will go. If they feel they will find something cheaper elsewhere, they will go. So we also need to stop having this entitlement that our friends and families should support us. It doesn't work that way. People will support you and buy, and then they will tell other people 100%. But we do not own anyone. If your friend does not want to come back to you, you cannot hate them for that. They do not own you that. That's why you are able to go to Spa and to Checkers and to wherever when you feel like it. So let's remove the entitlement. So with my journey, I had to learn all of those things. Yes, I became angry, saying, wow, I became disappointed. I said, wow, but eventually I got to learn. Business is a journey, and it's not for everyone. It's not for the faint-hearted, not for the strongest. It's business. If someone were to go and open something similar to yours but better, that is competition. Whether that person is your friend or not, it doesn't matter. Everyone needs to eat. They support their families. They need to take care of their bellies, And these are the kind of things that you need to understand about business. That's why in other cultures, and I'll give you something that I've also studied within I say Muslim families and cultures. You go
Yeah.
one of their stores and you want a mug, all right?
Yeah.
And when you get in there, you're saying you want 10 and he's got 5. He's going to pick up the phone and he's going to call his uncle, his friend, who's his competitor, and saying, Mohammed,
Yeah.
I want 5 mugs. Can I please get them at cost? Muhammad says, yes, you can get them at cost. He sells them with the profit. He sends back the money at cost. Muhammad goes back and buys the 5 cups. Now,
Yeah.
black people, evosi, anka is 6 lapo, I'm out of stock la. Oh, imchele etela. Do you understand the mentality that we have?
Yeah. Yeah.
We are our own enemies when it comes to our businesses.
Yeah.
We have an entitlement
Oh.
to people. We hate competition. That is where our problem is. But the journey is not going to be easy. That is the one thing that you need. It is basically the journey that you need to understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, got you. Got you. I think the sense of entitlement and the understanding that your friends can't always buy from you every single day. Got you. Got you loud and clear. Yo, Manjan Dash, like people that don't know you, I don't, I mean, obviously don't know you, but I feel like from what I've seen, like, what is your relationship like with money, with like material possessions, with like stuff, I've been hearing this theme quite a lot. Someone was advising at our digital summit this weekend, this past weekend, that in fact, the minister was saying this, that when we as Black people in business start getting a little bit of money, then we want to go and buy the most expensive BMW. Then we want to go and wear your Gucci, all of these things, right? What is your position and your relationship with like material things and money? I'll tell you why I'm saying this, because I've seen you like drive the most like fanciest cars, like nice cars. I've seen you like I'm not even gonna mention, but like I'm just saying, like I've seen you do the most out here in these streets with your swag, clothes, and with your cars and everything else. So just talk to me about that. Like, what's your relationship? Like, should we get that? I really want a BMW. Let me just get this BMW, get it off my bucket list or whatever. Like, should we get the things that we want? Should we wait? Like, what should we be doing? And what's your relationship with like material things?
Look, let's start from everybody wants good things. Everyone wants nice things. In the American, I must say, Pradung has English, But
Yeah.
the truth is this, is I'm not going to come here and say I have money. I've made a lot of mistakes with so-called money. I have made a lot of mistakes. The first problem that we have, most of us as entrepreneurs, and I need to put it out there, we do not have money. We have what we call a credit score. So when you go buy yourself a fancy BM, if you had money, you would walk in and say, how much? They say it's 500 grand. You say, okay, cash. We don't have that. We have credit cards. We have debts. And we believe in to be seen is a sign of success. Now, I'm the same person that had nothing, lost everything at one stage. But the funniest thing is that you would not see that I lost everything. Because at the end of the day is business is a journey. Life is a journey. You'll be so shocked of people that you look up to today where you think they are wealthy, but when they die, you find that they can't even buy a casket. So the truth is this, is that I've made mistakes with money to the point that I appreciate money today. But at the same time, I've learned one thing, which is I calculate everything that I do. If I can go and buy the Gucci that you speak of, I'm not going to go buy Gucci when I have the price of a Gucci as the only amount of money that I have. I will,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I have more than the Gucci shoe. So that is me, what do you call, satisfying myself. The other thing that I do is this, is that I don't go to Gucci every day. That is
Mm.
not because I have money, it means I need to spend it. That's why we as black people are called liquid money, because money comes in and money goes. So I can tell you is that in your perception, you think Dash has got this thing figured out. I've been living in
Yeah.
a bedroom townhouse for the past 7 years since I quit work. But you think I'm successful, someone else will say I'm not. But then you will find someone else who lives in a mansion in Waterfall, but if you look at their bank balance, they have 0 cents. So, what is this relation of money that we speak of? Because people look at how I dress and assume I have money. It's not me. One thing that I can tell you is that in my journey, I've seen people that I thought had money only to realize they don't have money. I've seen people who had money. And in this life, because of how you're saying is that we use money, when it hits the fan, they have nothing. The journey of business more than anything is, in a sense, is that unfortunately, what I've also seen, most of us as black young entrepreneurs are are making the same mistake as how our parents used to live back in the days. We make money today to survive for 30 days. That's how we run business. But if you want to change your mindset, and this is me now sharing my free insight,
Yeah.
having cash at your disposal is more important than having things to be seen with. Right now, what you also need to understand to show you is a lot of companies shut down in South Africa when they were only closed for 3 months. These are companies and organizations that have been around for 100 years. What does that tell you about the status of money?
Yeah.
We are a society that survives on month to month, and we call that business. We need to change that. We need to also stop living beyond our means. We need to stop also living to impress others, because when you impress other people, so what you spoke about, what the minister said, is that you get money and you want to quickly go buy a BM. But it is
Yeah.
the same thing as when I get a degree and I get my first job. What is the first thing that I want to do? I want to go and buy the fanciest cars. So it cannot
Yeah.
be of the fact that you think it's when people get in business. It is embedded into the black culture and society. But we cannot keep on blaming black cultures and society. But we now need to take the steps and saying, if I were to get my first jobs, do I really need a car? If your answer is yes, do I need an expensive car or do I need A to B car? If you buy A to B car, you are able to save money on the side. These are the problems, is how we were brought up, how we were raised. The other thing that you also get to learn, especially in this business space, is, according to me, a lot of people, we were not groomed to be business people. I call it pay as you go. You put airtime, you are learning as you go. You are learning as you go. So you cannot expect
Yeah.
us to come and live up and saying to you, you know what, we are businessmen. No, we are hustlers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A businessman is
Yeah.
someone who was groomed into a business at home. And when he came out of that home, he was given things and a startup and a what. I started off
Yeah.
borrowing 2,000 rand to buy pots. I am
Yeah.
hustling. So at the end of the day, that is just an entirely different conversation. To add
Yeah.
about the industry, look, I've met a lot of amazing people. I've met great people that are now my friends. People that, within the same industry, we share ideas and we get together, to think bigger than ourselves. I've also met, again, people that are snakes. People that basically want to align with you because they feel they can benefit. When they see, good day, this guy is not living my status life, they jump to the next person. It's life. It's not just entrepreneurship. There are certain things that you need to understand, that this is how life is. And life would be, you would have a poor person who has nothing, but they will amount to something very huge. You will have a rich person who has everything, and then they will amount to nothing. It is business, it is individuals, it is us, how we take it. Sorry, there's something here. So if you came from a disadvantaged family, they depend on you to put food on the table, you will end up living hand to mouth. So what this guy is basically talking about is it's what we call black tax.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There's many aspects. There are some people who say, screw this thing, it's my life, I'm not taking care of anybody. But at the end of the day, disadvantage or not, it's all about who you are, what you are, and why you want to do what you want to do. Mina, I always say to you, and I will say this to you, Klina, freely. Your money is your responsibility. It is your decision. No one is entitled to it. The moment we as black people start getting that, we will stop that when someone dies into their household, you go and you want to take their cars. People must move away from entitlement and leave people's things and focus on their own. That is
Own thing.
success.
Woo! Well said. Woo, well said. Dash, I could listen to you literally the whole day. And I hope this is a start of not just this conversation online, but I hope that me and you can actually chat more just about the business side of things, because I feel like where I am instead, I mean, I'm just being selfish here for a second, guys, forgive me. But where I am in terms of my business and in terms of the growth, right? I really do feel like I'm at such a fragile stage. Like my business could literally either blow up or tip over and sink. And I'm just being honest, you know. And I feel like when I have watched, I mean, I have been watching your journey, like I said, and I have been watching and hearing and seeing what you're doing. And I think it's amazing that you've weathered some of the storms that I might be going through. And so I hope this conversation doesn't end here. I hope we can really, really chat offline and just see where we can take this conversation. But any last words, like just to the ordinary entrepreneur, you know, just the small business owner living hand to mouth, or anybody that's going through, you know, whatever challenges. We've seen COVID come and go. We are now looking forward to 2021. What is it that you have to say just to the ordinary small business owner? Okay, actually, Dash, firstly, how do you, because I've seen you with also some famous people, like, who are now your friends. How did you do that? And any last words for us as small business owners?
Look, there's no famous people, they're all people. That's they.
Okay.
When we say, for me,
got you.
I'm not starstruck. Like, if you feel you're a celebrity, that's you.
Yeah.
That's what. Like I'm anything. I'm just Sthembiso. That's not. So with people is be yourself, and you'll attract people that would like you, and there will people that won't like you. That's just life. My other advice is, in a sense, is that if you want to get into business, know one thing and thing first. It's not easy. You know, in business, you're going to fall. You're going to get a business that's going to be successful and later dumps. You're going to start a new one, but that is what the journey is. You know, when we speak about journeys, is that we speak about a lot of things, you know, and one of those things is you have to understand something, and understanding